Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. Okay, so in today's video, I just wanted to do something a little bit different. And so as we were just starting March, I wanted to just go ahead and show you some of my stats from last month, which was February. Specifically because I have one design that is selling in one particular niche very well, and if you stick around to the end, I will show you what that design is. But as we're looking right now, I am on Pretty Merch Pro Plus, and I'm on sort of I'm looking at my analytics for one day. And so this particular day was, as I'm filming this just a few days ago, this was the 28th of February. And so it will show you kind of your statistics for the day. So on that particular day, I had 128 sales, no returns. My royalties for that one day was $614. Royalties per sale averaged $4.79. Okay, so those are sort of the stats for that one day. You can also get stats in terms of top products. So here, if we look, standard t-shirt was 97% of what I sold that day. I did sell a couple V-necks, a couple phone cases, but mostly it was just the standard t-shirt. Those are the ones that sell the most. In terms of fit types, for this one, it was actually more women than men. Typically, I see more men than women. And then kids is always a very small number by comparison. Colors, you'll see I had a good variety of different colors. This one actually showed heather gray as the top selling color. Now, that is not common for most designs. It was just for this particular niche, but typically what you'll see is black as the number one selling design color. And then I had purple at 38, and then just a couple ones, one pink, one baby blue, one lemon, one navy. Okay, but primarily black is usually your number one selling color. Now, I've gone ahead and blocked my designs just for right now, but as you'll see, this top selling design here, standard t-shirt, I had 100 sales that day. So on February 28th, I sold 100 of this particular t-shirt, and I brought in $489 that day on this shirt. And so this is the shirt that had the, 44 heather grays and, good variety of different colors. Again, mostly women, a few men. As we start to come down, my next top selling shirt that day, I only sold 16 of. So there's a really big difference between having one really good selling shirt and then just kind of a bunch of other shirts that sell a little bit here and there. Now, if you have enough, it'll still add up to a lot. So even if you have, shirts that only make, one or two sales a day, but you've got a ton of them, they will still add up to a lot versus having one shirt that sells like 100 a day, but that's the only shirt you have that sells. So there's lots of different ways that you can, get there. So my next top selling shirt only made 16 sales that day, but it still brought in $78 in one day, so that's not bad. And then as I start to scroll down, I had another shirt that only sold 4, had another V-neck here, only sold 2, another standard shirt sold 1, another standard shirt sold 1. Here I sold a phone case that day too, another standard shirt, another phone case, another standard shirt. So I had 10 different products sell on that one particular day. But of those 10 different products, obviously one of them sold a whole lot more than all of the rest. And so, when you're looking at your statistics, and especially if you're starting to get frustrated, I know when you first start out, it can be a little bit frustrating. I want you to think of it like this. You just need one good selling design. If you just have one shirt that is selling well, it can bring in the vast majority of your income versus having a ton of shirts that only sell a little bit. So just remember, you need to have just one shirt that sells well. So that's something that you can kind of hold on to, and it can happen at any time for any particular niche. And so that's what I wanted to show you on this particular page. Now I am going to go ahead and switch over to my analytics page. It gives me a lot of this information, but I'm going to look at the entire month of February. Okay, so now I'm on my analytics page just for February. So this is just the month of February. And as you can see, February was a little bit all over the place. I mean, it started off incredibly slow. I was only making about 4 sales a day the first several days, which was, that's slow, don't know what was going on there. And then it, you know, picked up and down, up and down, up and down. And then you can see how it just sort of shot up from making 4 sales a day, 32, 48, 67, and then it shot up to 128. So that was a big jump. Typically you won't see those kind of days every day. But again, your month might look like this. There might be a lot of ups and downs, and especially if you're looking at a whole year, there'll definitely be a lot of ups and downs, and there'll be months that you make more and months that you make a little bit less, and you'll certainly have days that you make a lot and days that maybe you don't. And so it's important to look at kind of the average of everything as opposed to any one particular day. So this is my average just for the month of February. So as I go ahead and scroll down, I sold 128 products, and this is just in the United States market, by the way. So just the United States, 128 sales, brought in $3,400 in the month of February in the United States. Average sales per day, so it averaged 26 sales a day, and it averaged about $121 a day. So if you average $121 a day, you'll make over $3,000 a month. You know, which can be good if this is supplemental income for you. If you're looking to make this more of a full-time job, well, you know, you'll want a little bit more than that probably. But I am also working full-time as a doctor of physical therapy, and I have a small son, so there's only so much time in the day. Record days, I did show you, was the 128 sales that day. I did have 2 returns that day, it looks like. Oh no, that was a different day. That was on the 13th. I had no returns that day. Top royalties was $614 in one day, right? Unique products sold. So I sold 67 different products in the month of February. So these are, you know, all different types of products. And yet, when you look at products for sales, you want it to be your 80-20 rule. I have 83-4, which means 4% of my products generated 83% of my sales. So I definitely had a top seller, and that's what it'll look like if you've got a top seller. Otherwise, what you'll find is usually, you know, 20% of your products are responsible for 80% of your sales and whatnot. So there's their 80-20 rule. As we come down and look at the stats some more, you'll see standard t-shirt was, of course, the #1 selling, and it always is. So, I mean, if you're just getting started and you don't know what product to put your designs on, if you're limited, always start with the standard t-shirt. It does sell the most by far. So that's always the first way you want to go, especially if you're limited in your slots. Next was tank tops. Tank tops sell good, especially as we start hitting summer and our spring and summer. Tank tops do sell well, and especially things for vacation and spring break and all of that, you'll want to put those designs on tank tops. So those are usually, you know, my second big seller, at least this time of year. Now it will be a little bit different. If it was more fall going into winter, then you might see a lot more hoodies being sold. So you might want to consider the seasons when you're considering, you know, your designs and the time of year that you're putting, you know, stuff up. So next I had my premium shirts. I had some long sleeve shirts sell. Phone cases, I don't sell a whole lot. You know, this time of year, not too many hoodies or sweatshirts. Did have a few of the V-necks, but again, more people are going to buy just the standard shirt. Had a few pop sockets, 1 tote bag, 1 throw pillow, so I usually don't see a lot of those selling. Again, the breakdown in terms of fit type, usually the men are a little bit more than the women. This month, the women were a little bit more than the men, but you know, they'll always be relatively even. Unisex would be things like the sweatshirts are unisex. The raglan is unisex. So any of the you know, those types of products would be considered unisex, and they don't usually sell as much because those products just don't sell as much. And then kids usually, you know, they don't sell a ton either, but I do get, you know, I had 19 kids sales last month. And then here's my color breakdown. So when we're looking at the entirety of the month, black definitely sold the most. So in the entirety of the month, I sold 400 designs on black, or 400 products that were black. That's 55% of my sales came from black. So that's always really what you want to, you know, optimize your designs for. My next big color was actually purple, and that's a little bit less common. This is because I had 1 top seller that did look good on purple. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't see purple in the top 5. Again, we had our heather gray, that was up there. Heather gray is another one that you don't usually see up in the top 5, but again, it just happened to work on this one design that I had. Usually what you'll see is you'll have your black, you'll have your dark heather, you'll have your blue heather and your navy blue. So usually the bluer tones and the darker tones will be the ones that are going to be your top sellers. So those are always the ones that you want to make sure that you kind of optimize for. And then, you know, you'll have your random other colors too, just depending on what designs you put up. So if I'm putting up like tropical style designs or summer style designs, you know, you might get some more of those kind of brighter colors, the brighter blues or the brighter greens or the yellows. I actually don't sell a lot of green. So when it comes to greens, greens and browns, they usually don't sell a lot at all. Any of like the bright reds, they usually don't sell a lot. So again, usually it is the cooler tones and the darker tones. So again, the blues are usually the ones that sell the most: blue, black, gray. And so again, if you're just optimizing, if you're limited in your slots, you know, be cognizant of what you're putting up and what colors you're optimizing for and all of that, because you do want to maximize your chances of making sales. Okay. So as I'm starting to scroll down here, it'll show you, you know, what products were sold and how many and the revenue each product brought in. So my top selling design here again had 460 sales last month. And so just that one design brought in, $2,244, right? And so you'll see it sold on a ton of different colors, but primarily black, okay? The next biggest seller, quite a drop, right? Only 89 of the next biggest seller. It brought in $430 last month. Again, black being the number one seller there, and then a royal blue for that one. As we come down, the third biggest seller was a tank top. So it went standard shirt, tank top. 55 of this one particular tank top brought in $271, mostly men for the tank top, and again, mostly black. Now this will keep going down and I can look at the stats for all of my different products. Up here at the top, it'll say that I sold 67 different products last month. So that's 67 different of my designs were sold. And so it'll show the stats on all 67, and you can kind of scroll down and see all the different stats, the colors, how much you made, whether it was women's fit or men's fit, or whether it was things like a long sleeve shirt would be considered unisex there. So I had some of those, some phone cases here, some sweatshirts here. So sweatshirt, pullover hoodie, a couple of those. These were different designs again, some more standard shirts, but a lot of these only made one sale, right? So I had one sale that month, one sale that month, one sale that month. So if you have enough designs that, you know, you're only making a sale a month, but you have enough products up that are selling, you can still bring in a lot of money. I mean, think of it like this. If you had, you know, 1,000 designs that were selling and they only sold one a month, you could still make 1,000 sales a month if you had that many designs that were actually selling. But it's a numbers game, right? So the more you have up, definitely the better your chances are. And so, I mean, I'm scrolling down and I had a lot of things that only sold once, but all of those add up. So I had all of these just sold once in the month, but they all add up. I had 67 different products selling. So, you know, that's where you want to get to, is where you have a lot of different products that are selling. So even if they only sell a couple of times, it can still add up to a lot of money. And again, if you have one really good seller any particular month, you know, that's also great because that'll bolster your income. That'll be where most of it comes from. Now, caveat, I did use some advertisement this month, and so some of the ads were for this one top seller. Now I'll tell you, this top seller brought in, again, $2,244, and I spent less than $100 in ads. So I would definitely say it was worth it. So even if you took $100 away from that, it still would have brought in over $2,000. But in terms of advertisements, I don't know if, sold another one of that one. In terms of advertisements, if you are doing advertisements yet or you haven't gotten there yet, it's also a numbers game. So as I look at sort of my advertisement stats, which I'm not going to show you right now because that's a whole nother page, it'll say something like you had, you know, 50,000 people view your design. And out of 57 or 50,000 people, maybe 500 of them actually clicked on it. And of the 500 that actually clicked on it, maybe only like, you know, 100 actually bought something. So it took 50,000 people seeing it for 100 people to buy it. So it really, you know, is a big, I keep saying numbers game, but it is. It's definitely very large scale numbers. So I haven't been doing advertisement very long, by the way. I really just started the advertisements. And so I'll let you know kind of how that goes probably in a few months. I'll let you know sort of how my advertisements are working and how much they're helping in terms of profitability and whether or not they're really affecting too many of my sales. So that's a whole nother discussion there. I know not everybody's going to have the option to advertise. So, eventually you'll get there if you're on one of the lower tiers. Eventually you do get advertising. So just hang in there. I've been doing this for a few years now, so it does take time to build up. It's definitely, again, not something that's going to happen overnight. You do kind of have to build up to it. And as I said, you'll have some good months and some bad months and some good days and some bad days. And so you really have to be doing it a while to sort of get a good average and see sort of where things are strongest and sort of what your statistics are. I mean, you can't really look at statistics if you've got, not enough time to look at. So you really need to be able to look at your statistics for a year to figure out, okay, this is what's working, this isn't working, this is what sells the most, these are the designs that sell the most or the niches that sell the most. And so again, if you're new to this, I would just say, hang in there. It is a long-term game, but it does continue to grow, and year after year, you should continue to see growth. And so, you stick with it long enough and, you'll start making some good money. There are definitely people on some of the very, very high tiers that are bringing in a ton of money every month, but they've been doing this for a long time. And so some of those designs they've had up for 5 years and they've been selling for 5 years. So again, stick with it. If you have any questions about this or Pretty Merch Pro Plus or the analytics, do drop them in the comments section below. I will try to get back to them as quickly as I can. Thank you for sticking around to the end, by the way. And I did say that I was going to show you what my number one design here is. So if I take out my kind of blur, I'll show you that right now the number one selling design I have here is a Women's Day shirt. And I will also tell you that this Women's Day design is the design that I created not even last year, the year before. And what I do every year is I just change the year and I change whatever the theme is, because obviously every year there's a different theme, and then I put it up again. And so what you'll find year after year is if you have a successful selling shirt or a successful selling design, you can just sort of revamp it. And this is what we call like scaling out. So you can also scale your designs out year by year. And so that's another way to go. So I happen to know that this sold really well last year. It also sold really well this year. It is continuing to sell. Women's Day is coming up very quickly. And so the sales do drop off as you start to get to that point where you can no longer get the shirt before the holiday. And that's typically how most holiday designs will work. Then there'll be huge sales up until about a week before, and then they just sort of start to drop off. But anyways, that is my top seller for last month. Obviously next month, or in March, I guess that's this month, it'll be different because that one will no longer be selling. So you just got to constantly be, putting things up and trying to stay ahead of the game. So right now it is March. I am currently, making sure that I've got a lot of stuff up here for things like spring break and Easter. So that is about a month and a half away there. And so you want to make sure that you're getting all your Easter stuff up, that you're getting all your spring break stuff up, and, keep at it. Again, I hope you guys are making some good sales, and I do hope to see you guys again. That's it for today's video. If you found this useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.